The bill to be considered today has 156 clauses, and we are going to vote on them for them to become the parts of this legislation that governs our election in Nigeria. So I'll just put the question, having gone through it with you time and again. I'll put the question, clause 1 to 10. Clause 11 to 20. Clause 21 to 30.
Carry. Point of order. Point of order.
Point of order. Point of order. Point of order.
Clause 30 to 40.
Point of order. Mr. Chairman, you are not reading. We want to know. Point of order. Point of order, Mr. Chairman. You are not reading. Point of order. Point of order.
Clause.
Point of order. Point of order.
No.
Clause 40 to 50.
You're supposed to read it line by line, line by line. Point of order.
Clause 50
Point
to
of order.
60.
Point of order.
Speaker, point of order. Point of order.
In that clause 60,
Speaker, point of order.
clause 61,
Point of order.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
clause
You
62,
need to read line by line, close by close.
clause 63,
Point of order.
Point of order.
clause 63,
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. You're supposed to read line by line.
clause 64,
Point of
No.
Speaker, point of order.
clause 65,
No. Point of order, Mr. Chairman. You're supposed to read line by line. Point of order.
clause
We don't have the document. And you're supposed to read line by line.
clause
Point
66,
of order, Mr. Chairman. Point of order. Point of order. No.
What did I say? What did I say last?
Line by line. No.
66 is what? Honorable colleagues,
Chairman, point of order. Chairman, point
No.
of
honorable
You're
colleagues,
supposed to read line by line.
clause 761,
Mr. Chairman. No.
clause 62,
But that's what we're doing. You are not listening. But that's where I am.
go and sit down, please. Clause 62,
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. You're supposed to read line by line. No.
Let me ask this question. Can we overcome agricultural siege deliberately created by politicians of corrupt nature, looting, senseless looting, and stashing away money, and many of them sponsoring kidnapping, ransom payment as a means of earning money, and creating insurgency, sponsoring groups like ISWAP, inviting groups to join Boko Haram just to make their own money, creating confusion. Can Nigeria overcome this? It is really important that the country talks about insecurity and hunger siege, because a nation in hunger and siege will look like nations like Sudan, Somalia, South Sudan, Central African Republic, Yemen, and we will all go there. And Ethiopia during the famine eras of the 80s. Can Nigeria overcome? The answer is yes. Yes, let's look at the positive side. Political leaderships at all levels, especially the federal, state governments, and local governments, and even the traditional and religious leaderships, must shun corruption and make it a shameful thing for themselves. Nigeria should have a zero tolerance of corruption, fraud, and embezzlement. They should make it look very shameful, not only on paper, not only on debates and talks. And those corrupt people are sitting in parliament of the Senate and House of Congress. They are sitting in state houses, in local government offices, in emir and kingship offices. They must be put to shame. They must be brought to book. They should not wait till there is bloodshed in that country before they can do anything, before they can start running. It is a very shameful thing that Nigerian leaders stash away money to places like Lebanon, Pakistan, Panama, Caribbean countries. Look at Nigerian former petroleum ministers in France, some of them in England, some of the agricultural people, some of the money stolen by the Maduekes and so on. In Dominican Republic, in the Caribbean, they stash away money everywhere. Who knew that Abacha will have money in Jersey Islands? And an immediate past Attorney General of the Federation is being alleged to have looted all the money he recovered. And an in-law to a president and former head of state. The answer is yes, Nigeria can overcome if such political leaders and armed robbers in power can be shamed and brought to book. We must, in the country, we must have courage and follow examples and actually benchmark modern countries like South Korea, like China in their present state, that their leader made corruption a zero tolerant thing, and China is moving forward and better compared to their last period in the 90s and 80s and back to the 60s when they were really bad under communism. We must emulate countries like Singapore that went from nothing to today powerhouse of industries and economy. We must look even closer home to countries like Botswana, where Theresa Khama, their former president, instituted discipline. Can President Tinubu do that? Can he change within these 2 years and show example? Because he has nothing to lose. He's old already. He can change Nigeria if he's determined to. Can we borrow like Holland, the Netherlands, a tiny country? Can we look at Taiwan, a tiny country? And can we look at Japan experiments? To implement planned budgets, implement allocations to farming and agriculture. Implement it must be verifiable and not just cosmetics or owning huge lands that given to politicians that never put a hoe or a plow to it. Can we replicate within the states of the Federation? Every state should be made to have their own farm settlements and plantations in places like what they had in Adapam in Imo State, that is virtually non-functional, or or the cocoa plantations returning. Can that happen? Instead of cornering money and deception and living flamboyant and shameless of all sorts of character in politics of Nigeria, insecurity must be tackled head on by making sure leaderships in the security sector, like the army and police and their leaders, did not tamper with budgets for the policemen or the military. The money must be put in their invested on them, paid regularly, made to live well, make police and army attractive, and not their leaders, the commanders, the chiefs of army, looting the money and taking them as far as Dubai. These things must be corrected. Nigeria can correct it. The judiciary can be corrected to get these people in and try them. It can be changed. Tinubu should have the courage, and the governors, both the present one and the incoming ones, must have the courage to remove food insecurity, do everything to ensure food security in Nigeria. They must do everything to remove Nigeria from hunger siege. That is all I have for this time. Please, we are doing everything possible to bring up these ideas. Instead of only dwelling on the political aspect, we dwell on opening up Nigeria for food security. It can be done. Thank you. As you watch, subscribe, press the thumb up button, and share with friends and folks and people even in governance. This can get to them and help them and support them to change their minds. Bye.